Good morning, children. Welcome back to the session. The previous period we are discussing earthquake supplementary reading part 22nd lesson earthquake, and this is second period of 9th standard. So the last period we have discussed 11 paragraphs which was given in textbook. Let us discuss the remaining paragraph of this lesson earthquake, where we have learned in last period is a bridge. A 17-year-old boy is saying about what happened to his village because of earthquake. It is going to be destroyed, and 602 villages are destroyed, and crashing many lives, and so many villages are going to be destroyed because of that earthquake, and old mountains are crashing to the villages. So 12th paragraph, let's see. It was sheer chance that I was away that night. So it said that particular day where earthquake happened to that village, he was not in the village. I was away that night. I had gone to Pauri to buy my school books. So I stayed the night at my uncle's house. So at that particular day when the earthquake happened, he was not there. He was gone to uncle's house and stayed there that night for getting books, school books, that is Pauri, P-A-U-R-I. We felt the tremors. We ran out into the open. Again and again the tremors came. We spent the entire night outside. Pauri lived through the night. Multi did not. So Pauri, in that particular place, he spent the night outside the house because of the tremors. But whereas Multi, the village, did not survive because of these tremors. For the living, the nightmare began at daybreak when the news trickled in of the large-scale devastation. So morning, after that morning, the news spread and said that so many devastation has already taken place. There were dozens of landslides, huge boulders thrown haphazardly across motorable tracks and roads. Precious time was spent in blasting the rocks and clearing the way for army rescue teams. It was all of 4 days before help arrived for Multi. So after 4 days of this earthquake, the army force, that is for rescue team, army rescue team arrived to that Multi, clearing all the blasting the rocks and clearing the way to that particular village. So it was such a devastation. What is going to be happen that particular day of earthquake. I was among the first to reach the village. So when he heard this news that Multi was not there because of that village, my uncle accompanied me. That is, he and his uncle accompanied to that village Multi. We feared the worst, but nothing had prepared us for what we saw. Every single house, every wall, every roof had been flattened. Stone, rubble and dust were all that remained. Our house was a 2-storied stone building with a slate roof. His grandfather, my great grandfather, had built the house. We were a small family. My father had died after an illness. Just 14 months ago, my mother took care of us. That is the boy, bridge boy, saying about his family details. They were living in a small building which was built by his grandfather with a small family of father who has died 14 months ago. My father, that is my mother, took care of us. We were 3 children. I was the oldest. That is, Bridge was the oldest. My brother Nilo, he was 10. That is, brother Nilo 10, and Bully, my 2-year-old sister, Bully was the baby of the family. My grandmother lived with us. So this is about his family members introduction given by Bridge. So when the soldier began to clear the debris, my uncle led me away. I was in a complete daze, too numb to feel anything. The soldiers had set up a makeshift camp. Someone gave me tea and biscuits. I don't know how long I was there. Suddenly it was evening and uncle was standing beside me. They have taken the bodies to the river bank. He said gently, "Come, you must perform the last rites before sunset. Tomorrow we will go back to Pauri." I had last seen my family while leaving for Pauri. They stood at the doorway and waved, Ma, Dadi, Neelu and Bully. That is the way I will always remember them smiling and waving at me, not as the white shrouded lifeless figures I saw. Bully, she was not there. They have not found her, my uncle said. The wild animals, Bridge, don't look like that she is dead. But we must find her, I shouted. Bridge, get a grip on yourself, uncle pleaded. But I was beyond reasoning. I ran back to the village, to the spot where my house had stood. There was still so much debris. I scrambled around, shifting the earth and stones. How long I was on my knees, searching, crying, searching. Boy, it is no use, a voice said. I looked up. The speaker was the army officer who had supervised the relief operation. There is no one alive in there, he said. Whom are you looking for? My sister, sire, I said, fighting to control my tears. All I want is to give her a proper cremation. I stopped, conscious that I was babbling. I could see that he was bone tired. He looked as if he had not slept for 2 days. His uniform was covered with dust. His face was grimy, but through all the dust and grime, I saw that his eyes were kind. My men have been on their feet for days, he said softly, as if talking to himself. They have done all they could here. Tomorrow at daybreak, we go to another village just like this, then another. He looked away at the sun setting behind the peaks. Down in the valley, the pious burnt row upon row. The officer muttered something, shook his head and turned away. A terrible despair engulfed me. I lay there among the ruins of my house and cried. So that was what he experienced during that particular place when he came to his village with uncle. He has not seen any one of the family members alive, and one, that is Bully, his sister was not found, and he was going to search his sister, but it is helpless. Even that the army officer came and said like this. So this is about the 23 paragraph. The next period we will discuss the remaining few paragraphs, children. I think, I hope you are understanding my lines. Go through the lines. It's very simple one, and you will get to understand this lines. Okay, take care, children.